whenever I visit in the hospitals, usually food at some point comes in the tray of food, and I always say to them, I say, how is the food? 99% of the time, there's like, oh, Father, it's awful. Do you know why? It has no salt, right? It has no salt. The nursing homes and the retirement places are doing a whole lot better job with that. Less salt, but enhancing the taste. But the hospitals haven't really caught up with that. But that's what Jesus is saying. You are the salt of the earth. Salt not only flavors food, but back then it was like an antiseptic for wounds. It preserved, but also the original word salt and salary. Salary comes from the word salt. The Roman soldiers were paid in salt. That was their salary. So salt had tremendous value. And so then what Jesus is saying here for us, he's saying, look, you have value, and I need you in the world to act with that value. I need you to be salt. What does that mean? And as I was reflecting on this past week, I thought, I just pulled 3 things. There was one of the writers that I was reading this week was talking about the power of words. And he's saying our words can be a knife or it can be a seed. And I thought how true that is for all of us to be cautious about. It can be a knife or it can be a seed. And we need to be more aware of it, my friends, myself very much included, the power of words and the impact that they have. They can cut or they can build up. Create something new, right? Create something new. This story was told by a man. He was in his 30s. He had a couple children of his own. And he was recounting an incident in his house that happened when he was 5 years old. And he said it was an amazing thing, this experience. He said he has carried it with his whole life. In his parents' home was a living room, and apparently they had a mantle. And on the mantle was a very expensive heirloom vase that was passed down through 2 generations. And this little 5-year-old boy wanted to see how heavy that delicate vase was. Of course, that's always a recipe for disaster, having a 5-year-old getting up on the mantle, So somehow he got a chair and was up there. And of course, he went to grab it. And of course, he's reaching, and this vase, what do you think happened? Down it comes, smashed all over. So he starts screaming hysterically. And then he starts running up knowing that he's going to have to tell his mom. And the mother hears him screaming as he's running up the steps and meets him halfway. And in between the screams, he's saying to his mother, I broke the vase. And you know how the mother responded? She said, oh, thank heavens. I thought you were hurt. He never forgot that day. Do you know why? He knew that vase had value and was a treasure. And he knew now that he was worth more than that vase. You see, my friends, we know our family members, our spouse, and our children are treasures. We know that. But we don't always express it, do we? We don't always express it. And we need to. We need to. We need to be salt, not only in the world, my friends, but in our homes, right? In our homes. There was a young woman who had a really good job, and she was trying to save money for her upcoming wedding, so she took the bus to work. She overslept this morning, and then so her day started off in the wrong foot. And then everything that happened at work it was just horrible. The whole day was a mess. She was finally coming home. She was finally finished. She left the office all distracted, all distraught. And she's waiting for the bus, and of course that was late. Then she gets on the bus, and it was completely crowded. And so she was pushed to the back. And as she's standing there, being pushed more, she's starting to get more and more agitated. And then somebody starts, she couldn't see it, it was an older man, starts kind of singing and saying, "It's a beautiful day. What a beautiful day." And starts saying some other things, and And of course, when somebody's in a good mood and you're not, there's nothing more irritating, is it? It really isn't. When somebody's in a good mood and you're all grouchy, they really bother you, And the same with this woman. The more he was kind of singing and being joyful, she's getting more and more irritated, Finally, her stop came, and she's kind of edging through, saying to herself, "I can't wait to get off this bus." So she's getting up. She came up to the man. She saw the man who was finally singing, and she kind of edged through it. And he says to her, "Blessings, child." And then for the first time, he saw him. He had like this kind of rumpled hat on, big, real dark glasses, and a long, thin, white stick. And she thought to herself, "It's a beautiful day, and he can't even see it. He can't even see it." And she thought, here she is, grouchy mood over nothing. And here's this blind man singing away. My friends, we're called to be salt. I know we can't be in a great mood all the time, but a lot of times it's a choice. It's a choice. And we need to choose to be grateful. So this week, my friends, may all of us, we are called to be salt of the earth. May we do it with our words, in our families, and the world itself. God bless you.